Decades ago, Boris Becker wowed the world with his dazzling tennis, which included hurling himself over the court dangerously, diving headfirst for volleys, and serving lethal serves that earned him the nickname Boom Boom. However, Becker, who was the tournament's youngest ever champion as an unseeded 17-year-old in 1985, endured a stunning fall from grace after being declared bankrupt. He's now serving 2.5 years in prison, and that's sad. The star has finally gone from grace to grass. But how did it all start for Boris? Let's find out. Boris was born to Elvira and Karl-Heinz Becker in the German town of Leimen in the state of Baden-Württemberg. From a young age of 8, he learned to play the sport at the tennis center founded by his architect father and occasionally trained with popular star Steffi Graf. Boris dropped out of school in the 10th grade to devote his whole attention to the West German Tennis Federation. In 1984, he turned professional. He wasn't well known, so he arrived on tour with just a little fanfare. But within a year, he'd go on to become a household name. Boris became the youngest male major champion in history at the age of 17 at Wimbledon in 1985 when he defeated American Kevin Curran in 4 sets, a record that was later broken by Michael Chang at the 1989 French Open when he defeated American Kevin Curran in 4 sets. It was a remarkable achievement that was commemorated on the cover of Sports Illustrated, which featured the young athlete under the banner Das Wunderkind. From there, it seemed the only way was up for Becker. In a 16-year career that saw him win 6 major singles titles, including 3 Wimbledon championships, 2 Australian Opens, and 1 US Open, he amassed 49 titles and a staggering $25 million in prize money. His multi-award winning game was built around a quick and accurate serve that made fans call him Boom Boom, Der Bomber, and Baron von Slam. However, despite his evident brilliance, Becker's behavior raised eyebrows at times, and he had several emotional outbursts on the court. At the Australian Open in 1987, he flew off the handle, spitting at the umpire and smashing his racket. Also struggling with the pressure, he became hooked on sleeping pills, which then led to a battle with booze. Sadly, his long career came to an end in 1998 when he sensed his game was slipping. In his book, The Player, published in 2003, Boris placed his career and aspirations in perspective, saying, "One thing I know is that the world will not allow me to merely play tennis. It will not allow me to be the world's number 15. So either I do it well or I don't." By the age of 22, I had already won a lot of Wimbledon titles, the US Open, the Davis Cup, and the world's number 1 spot. You are looking for the next great thing, and tennis isn't it. Boris founded his own racket and gear firm and has worked as Wimbledon pundit for the BBC since 2002. He was also a skilled poker player who has competed on both the European and World Poker Tours. As of August 2008, the German star made tournament earnings of over $100,000 and was ranked 132nd and 133rd on the Global Poker Index. However, it was Becker's wild love life off the court that really attracted a lot of attention. And despite his popularity and talent, his popularity with the opposite sex seemed to come as a surprise to him. He was once asked why women seemed to find him attractive, and the German replied, "No idea." He joked that he wasn't rich, although I highly doubt that. He also joked that his manhood wasn't overly enormous. Despite this admission, he married his first wife, Barbara, in 1993, and the couple share 2 sons, Noah and Elias. Boris's famous 1999 rendezvous with Russian beauty and waitress Angela Ermakova, which was alleged to have taken place in a broom closet, put his love life in the limelight. While his then-wife, German-American fashion designer Barbara Feltus, was pregnant with their second child, the tennis star had sex with Angela Ermakova in London's Nobu restaurant. The unexpected encounter was first said to have taken place in the famed eatery's broom cupboard, but Boris subsequently confirmed that the one-night stand that controversially resulted in the birth of his third child, Anna, really took place in a stairway. Writing in his autobiography about the one-night stand, he said Angela looked at him directly in a seductive manner, like she wanted him. There she was again, walking twice past the bar, and again this look. A little while later, she left her table for the toilet. I followed behind in 5 minutes of small talk and then straight away into the nearest possible place and down to business, Becker explained. The blink of an eye and you'd miss it quickie led to the birth of Becker's daughter with Angela, who faxed him 8 months later to tell him the news. Unsurprisingly, him and Barbara separated at the time. In his book, published in 2003, the sportsman spoke out about the incident, stating that he still holds remorse because it broke his marriage to Barbara and propelled his daughter into the spotlight. He wrote that he was very sad and embarrassed about how it happened and the way it broke up his family. According to Boris, he and Angela had to set about being parents to their little girl without any relationship of their own to fall back on. He added, "I'm now at a place with her and her mother that's really comfortable, calm, peaceful, and family-like." Becker's 5 minutes of craziness ended up costing him a lot of money. The tennis player was ordered to pay Ermakova a one-time payment of £2 million in maintenance. Meanwhile, he lost £11 million in cash as well as his primary family property in Miami and £2 million in legal expenses as a result of the divorce. Despite the financial consequences, Boris subsequently stated that he did not regret the occurrence because it culminated in the birth of his sole child. "My daughter Anna is one of the nicest things in my life," he told Radio Times magazine. "I'm quite pleased and proud of my daughter." He was undeterred by his ordeal and met Dutch model Charlie Becker Kersenberg, better known as Lily, in Miami in 2005. The couple married in Switzerland in the summer of 2009, and their son Amadeus was born on the following year. They broke up in 2018 when Becker filed for bankruptcy, which caused a shift in his attitude that Lily couldn't handle. Now Boris is dating political risk analyst Lilian de Carvalho Monteiro, who is said to be in her 40s. This wouldn't be the first time Boris has been in trouble with the law because of his money. In 2001, he was charged with tax evasion for reportedly living in Munich but using Monaco as his primary residence. He was found guilty a year later, sentenced to 2 years of probation, and ordered to pay €3 million in taxes and interest. Becker was declared bankrupt in June 2017, despite having a net worth of £38 million at one point. The tennis legend owed more than £3 million on his Mallorca house. He was required to give a complete asset declaration under the provisions of the bankruptcy order. He was recently convicted of fraud, and as of April 8, 2022, he was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison for concealing £2.5 million in assets and loans in order to avoid paying debts. The case revolved around his bankruptcy in June 2017 as a result of an unpaid debt of more than £3 million on his luxury Mallorca villa. When he was declared bankrupt, he was legally required to reveal all of his assets so that his trustee could distribute available funds to his creditors, to whom he owed approximately £50 million. Southwark Crown Court jurors found Becker guilty of removal of property, 2 charges of failing to report estate, and concealing debt in early April 2022 after hearing evidence for roughly 2 weeks. The jury determined the Wimbledon broadcaster had acted deliberately and dishonestly. Becker was still attempting to place blame on others, though it was clear that he was responsible. He had neglected to report his share in a huge £1 million mansion in his German hometown of Leimen and hid a bank loan of almost £700,000 on the property, as well as shares in a technological company worth £66,000, according to the verdict. He was also discovered to have sent payments totaling £397 from his company account to 9 other people, including his ex-wife Barbara and estranged wife Lily Becker. Becker's attorney, Jonathan Laidlaw, QC, told the court that the tennis star's fall from grace had ruined his reputation. He will serve the first half of his sentence on probation. What do you think about his fall from grace? Comment below.